Hello and welcome to video number 5, and in this video we're going to talk about the human trigger. If you think about what else that motivates us to move forward, it's accountability. But you can't really have accountability if you don't have a platform or you don't have a WordPress plugin that allows you to achieve that goal. Now you could say, hey, why don't I create a Facebook group and have a course and a group and have them separate? You could do that as an option if you would like to do that. However, and this can be a debatable subject, the thing is, when you separate the two, you have the online courses and then you have the Facebook group, it's too many distractions. So, in other words, they could go to Facebook, they could get distracted by things on Facebook like what their friends are doing and all of that. Now, having it on your site will actually help move people forward because they're on your online course, right? So that makes sense. Now, if you were to go with Teachable, and that is an option, bear in mind that the comment section is not as dynamic, meaning it looks like this. You post a comment, and then, of course, the instructor comments right below. So it's kind of a blog-style commenting system, but it's not as engaging as it would be like Facebook. Now, what if you could create your own Facebook, but integrate it into your actual site? Well, there are options to doing that if you choose to use WordPress, and that gives you more flexibility to do that. One plugin in specific is called BuddyPress, and BuddyPress allows you to do that, and it integrates with LearnDash WordPress plugin. And BuddyPress actually, you can install this if you want to. Many other plugins that design, the designs and everything like that go on top of BuddyPress. For example, one in specific is called BuddyBoss. BuddyBoss is a very, very dynamic and very, very feature-rich WordPress theme that is built on top of BuddyPress. What it allows you to do is it allows you to build online communities that integrate with LearnDash. So not only do you have a community going on, you also have courses going on as well. Now, in addition to that, you can also integrate gamification, which we will talk about later on. But these three items, LearnDash, BuddyBoss, and the gamification system, will allow you to take things at a much further level and convert a lot more people into potential back-end sales. Now, bear in mind that BuddyBoss does have a yearly fee. If you want to choose a different plugin, there's one called User, that's Y-O-U-Z-E-R, as shown here. And this is a similar site. It's a WordPress community. And if you scroll down, you'll get an idea that it's very, very similar. Now, the reason why I recommend LearnDash and BuddyPress is because there's a lot more integrations that go into all of those. Whereas if you go with a proprietary system, then that is not so popular, then you run the risk of having a system that cannot scale and cannot expand. So that is how to implement the human trigger, or the human element, which is a community and the accountability, into your online course. Hello and welcome. This is video number 4, and this is going to be about the progress trigger. Now, another motivational factor that can help boost those dopamine triggers is by showing your students where they are in the course. In other words, in practical terms, the progress bars. Now, why is this important? Well, if you think about whenever you take a quiz, how many times have you taken a quiz and thought to yourself, when is this going to end? So, as you can imagine, this is most likely going to be in your customers' minds as well, especially if they have busy lives. So with a quiz, we found over the years what works really well to get people to finish a quiz is to have a progress bar at the very top. This allows your customer, in relation to the course, to actually see where they are in the course. So are they halfway through? Are they 10% in? Are they almost done? Where are they in terms of progress in the course. Now, in order to set up a progress bar, you either need to do some custom coding, or if you're using a WordPress site, you'll need to utilize a WordPress site plugin that integrates into your online course platform. Now, I'm going to give you some actual advice on which platforms we recommend in terms of online courses. There are many out there, but some of them have progress bars, and of course, some of them don't. Now, we can't speak for every single one out there, but one of them that does, and I find that to be really good site, is teachable.com. So Teachable is what we call a SaaS, a software as a service, and this is not a site that you own or a WordPress plugin. It's a third-party site where you can simply register, you can easily create a course, and the progress bars are implemented inside of them. Now, this is a great way to just get up and running if you don't want to run your WordPress site, set things up, and there's less configuration in terms of how that goes. Now, I will say, in terms of the other triggers that we'll talk about later on, especially the gamification, Teachable does not have gamification built in. So you will be limited to a certain degree if you go with a SaaS third-party platform. So if you want to do gamification, which we'll talk about later, and we'll talk about different plugins that you can use that we recommend, if you go that route, you will need to have a WordPress site. So the majority of people have a WordPress site, and that's why we're going to give you different options to go about that. Now, in terms of a WordPress site, here are the WordPress plugins that you will need. There are many learning management system plugins out there, but the best of the best that we found over the years in terms of testing is LearnDash.com. LearnDash has a ton of integrations, which means if you want to do different things with your site, for example, gamification or engagement or community, you can easily do that. And because they have a big team and they're constantly coming out with updates, and their integrations are there's just tons of them, this gives you the ability to expand and scale at a later date. So LearnDash.com is a learning management system. So this allows you to create your courses and allows you to utilize some, reward triggers, engagement triggers. So there's stuff built in to LearnDash that you could utilize in itself if you just wanted to stick with that. Now, if you wanted to move to the next step, you could add more gamification. So as you can see, in terms of building courses, it's really easy. And as you can see, one of the key features is it manages learner progress. So it allows not only the learner to see where they are in the course. Are they halfway? Are they 75% through the way? It allows you to see as well. In fact, if you go over here in their knowledge base, you can see that there's a course progress bar that's actually built in. Now, I will say that by default, most learning management systems should have that. If they don't, then they are most likely very outdated. So definitely look for a learning management system. If it's not LearnDash, that's fine. There's a lot out there that are great, but this is something that we have used and tested and can highly recommend. So this in itself would help with that progress trigger and allowing the user and the student to see where they are allows them to think, okay, I'm halfway, I'm just going to push forward, get this done. You see, if there's no progress bar or there's no little motivational triggers, then they're going to think, okay, I don't know where I am, but I'm just going to stop now and come back later. And a lot of times there is no later because they just get distracted and they totally forget about your course. Now we'll talk about different strategies that you can use at the end of this video course on how you can get people back to your course if they totally forgot about your course. It will cost a little bit of money, but it's well worth it in the end, as you've learned so far. All right, so with that said, let's move on to the next video. Hello and welcome back. This is video number 3, and we're going to talk about the desire trigger. Now you might be wondering, why in the world are we at a toy website for kids? Or maybe why are we going to Amazon.com and looking at cool gets and gadgets? Well, I want you to think for just a moment. In the past months, or maybe even the past year, I want you to think of something that you really wanted. Was it a car? Was it something mental, a relationship? What could it be? So you could even think of it from your kid's perspective. As we're looking at this website, maybe your kid wanted this Nerf toy blaster, or maybe you did when you were little. So if you think back to those days, what was it? What was it about it that you really, really wanted? Now, if you can jot that down as part of an exercise, just jot down what kind of emotions, why you wanted exactly maybe that or maybe something else. What were the emotions that you felt? And what were the desires? What were the end results? Write those down right now. Okay, so hopefully you wrote down a few emotions. The reason why I wanted you to take this little exercise is because this is really what your customers are all about. You need to think about how you can motivate them from video 1, video 2, video 3, lesson, whatever, and motivate them by showing them that, okay, if you complete video 1, you'll get here. If you complete video 2, you'll get this desired result. If you complete half of this video course, you will get to this point and you'll be halfway there, but you'll get this and that. So hopefully that makes sense. Basically, you want to, number 1, give them a quick overview of what to expect so that they know exactly what is coming. If they know exactly what is coming, then they can get excited, right? They can get excited about what's actually to come. So that's why I'm showing this to you, is because it's a very similar concept of you wanting something or someone that you know wanting something. So even as adults, if we go to Amazon.com and maybe we're looking at shoes, maybe we want them because they will help us run better. Maybe our feet hurt, or maybe they'll just make us look more stylish, right? So that's why you need to understand your students, understand what they want to achieve. Now, obviously, the reason why they bought your course in the first place was because they wanted to achieve something. So just reiterating that in itself can actually be a big motivational factor or a desire trigger. Okay, so I already talked about this, but in practical terms, number 1, of course, create that list and show them what to expect. And number 2, simply reiterate what they want and try to, if you can, try to plug it in to the videos. So in video 2, perhaps could be about something and you relate it to whatever you're trying to teach, but you also talk about it as well. So you maybe talk about that desire that they want to achieve. In video number 3, you'll talk about the next step, what to do there, but also reiterate that desire. So along, you're just reminding them why they bought the course in the first place, because they had that excitement. You want to keep it exciting so that they complete the course. Now, like for example, this course, you could take it and you could add things in between. So there's a variety of things that you can do to make it interesting. And of course, only you really would know that, but we'll give you some practical application on how to go about doing that. Now, another way to achieve this is by creating a roadmap. So you can create a mind map or a roadmap or something to show them what's ahead. Now, a lot of people tend to be visual learners or kinesthetic, so they learn better by actually seeing. So to achieve that, you will definitely need to get access to something that can help you create roadmaps. So here are a few sites that will allow you to do that. Pictochart.com is one of them, And this site allows you to create infographics, and a lot of the infographics look really interesting and they have that kind of roadmap look. So not everyone, but some of them, and they have a ton of templates that you can pick and choose from. So if we go under here and we click on infographics, just to give you an idea of what this looks like. So this one here, for example, this is a good way to show it, or camping. This is a good way to show a roadmap and what to expect. And using graphics as well can help with that. So let's just go to this one right here. And actually, when I scroll down, you can see that this is a good example of a roadmap. So you can have video 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and give them an idea about what to expect and how that integrates with their actual desire. Now, some of these don't necessarily look like a roadmap, so of course steer clear of those, but the ones that do, definitely want to pick those up. Now, pictochart.com is not the only place where you can find infographics. There are many other places out there. Another place is called graphicriver.net. So we can go here, graphicriver.net, and type in infographic roadmap, click enter, and let's see what we get. So the first one, you can see it looks like a race car track. Now obviously when you pick infographics, make sure that they fit your demographics. In other words, they fit who you're actually going to target. So if this fits your course, then great, pick and choose that. So you see, this way your student can actually see, okay, this is video 1 or step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. And this is what they can expect. So some people, when they look at things, they're like, oh, I really want to learn what's in video 4, but before I can get there, I have to complete 3 and 2. Or, oh, I really want to look at 5 or 4 and 5, but I got to complete these to get there. So creating a roadmap and allowing people to see it visually allows them to actually start to think about what is actually going to come. Out of that, how are they going to get closer to this desire and more. All right, so now that we've covered this, let's move on to video number 4.